Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Roberto Corona. I am an Italian anthroposopher and astrologer. And in this video, we're going to talk about Comet C2025F2 SWAN that has recently been under the spotlight, rightfully earning the title of Easter Comet. We're going to see how the contribution of this comet from a spiritual point of view is certainly very, very positive, especially given the international context that due to the March eclipses and retrograde planets and so on has definitely overheated. Now, when it comes to comets, please note that we have to be cautious since they are very unstable phenomena, meaning that they can disintegrate at any time. Here you can see a recent image of Comet F2 discovered through the SWAN Space Telescope. Now, before moving on, an important note. Traditionally, in astrology, comets are inauspicious phenomena, and this is because they break into the harmony of the cosmos and its cycles, bringing in an unexpected, sort of abnormal light in the sky. From an anthroposophical standpoint, though, according to Rudolf Steiner's investigations, we need to be more specific. In fact, comets in general are celestial bodies that collect negative astral forces, and we can think of them as sort of cosmic scavengers, so to speak. For this reason, it is very important to discern whether we are dealing with a periodic comet or a non-periodic comet. Why is that? Because periodic comets regularly return towards the Earth, basically bringing this negative astral nasty energy back to us. And for this reason, they are adverse to human evolution. Non-periodic comets, on the other hand, pick up this negative astral forces and expel them out of the solar system for good, becoming allies of our evolution. Now, Comet F2 is classified with the C letter, specifying precisely that it is a non-periodic comet, and in this sense, it is a positive comet. Beware, however, that ancient astrologers had it right anyway, because it's true, the comet is an aid coming from the first hierarchy of the spiritual world, namely the seraphim and the cherubim, to help us. However, it manifests itself at a time when we need it because there's an excess of negative astral. And this means that the appearance of a comet is at the same time a sign that in general things are not looking good at all, so we need to be extra careful. Let's now take a good look at the amazing alignments of this comet, starting with the date of its discovery, March 29, date of the solar eclipse in Aries, which you can see captured here. If you look at the sun, you can see there's the shadow of the moon as well. Now, the comet, this is the comet, showed up in the constellation of Pegasus. This red cross is the comet here, and it was perfectly aligned at 24 degrees of Pisces with planet Saturn, right at the same degree, 24 degrees, right? Now, from all of this, we can draw the first indication. The comet is here to counterbalance the effect of the eclipse. In fact, it was discovered the same day, and especially the karmic release of karma represented by Saturn. The comet has been discovered perfectly aligned with Saturn. And of course, we can add into the equation the North Node as well, of course. Now, not only that, but 24 degrees Pisces are very interesting because they coincide with the second stationing of Venus, that is the point at which Venus returned direct. And in addition to that, 24 degrees Pisces are very close to the second stationing of Mercury as well, that is 26 degrees Pisces. So the influence of the comet becomes very evident at this point. The comet is here to counterbalance not only the karmic release of eclipse season, but also the harmful effect of the two retrograde planets that have affected the first degrees of Aries and the last degrees of Pisces. Now, to this cleansing effect, we also want to add a purification of the early effects of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that we have been talking about. Why is this? Because on April 5, the brightness of the comet suddenly increased, right? And the comet was at 2 degrees and 36 minutes Aries, aligned with Neptune, which was already occupying 0 degrees and 13 minutes of Aries. So it is very interesting to note that the comet outburst occurred when it had entered Aries and was perfectly aligned with Neptune. Let's now spend a few words on the constellation in which the comet was found. This is the constellation of Pegasus, the winged horse, which carries with it important significations, especially from an anthroposophical perspective. In fact, the horse is the living symbol of the human intellect, and for this reason, the winged horse is the winged intellect, and it represents the process of the spiritualization of thinking and the development of the so-called imaginative knowledge, which is a subject very dear to us anthroposophers. Now, imaginative knowledge is not a type of reverie, not at all. On the contrary, it is a higher state of consciousness conveyed by images. And in this sense, Pegasus represents the process of the human intellect spiritualizing itself, becoming a sort of cup, I would say, capable of welcoming a new perception of the spiritual world. In this regard, it is very interesting to observe the alignment of the comet during the full moon in Libra on April 13, which, I remind you, is the full moon that leads us towards Easter. In fact, during the full moon, the comet is in close conjunction, also in terms of latitude, with the star Alpheratz, which is this white spot that you can see here. Now, this is the position of the comet, and this white spot is star Alpheratz. Now, Alpheratz is the Alpha Andromedae, the brightest star of the constellation of Andromeda. And as you can see, the star is located right above the head of the chained Virgin, who represents the human soul chained to matter. It is no coincidence that from Alpheratz, from Andromeda's head, Pegasus comes out, our spiritualized intellect comes out, flying free towards the spiritual world. Alpheratz, in fact, is a star that confers freedom, love, and a fine intellect. And the process of the spiritualization of our thinking is, in fact, the anthroposophical way to liberate the human soul, Andromeda, from the game of matter. Dulcis in fundo, the final alignment on April 20th, which gives this comet the definitely deserved title of Easter Comet. Now, on Easter Sunday, in fact, the comet will be perfectly aligned with the Sun at 0 degrees Taurus, crowning what we have already indicated in the video of the full moon in Libra regarding the alignment of the Sun with the star Alrisha of the constellation of Pisces. Now, this is the star Alrisha. Down here, it's the bow basically tying together the two starry Pisces that you can see here. So we have the alignment of Alrisha, the Sun, and now a comet too, So I'd like to conclude this video with the image of Archangel Michael, of course, because the topic of the spiritualization of thinking is the central theme of anthroposophy and of the Michaelite impulse that anthroposophy brings. So with this picture in the background, I wish everybody a happy Easter of Resurrection. As always, if you want to support my work, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell not to miss out on future astrological insights. I am Roberto Corona. See you in the next video.